We are going to start adding our CSS to our HTML document that we've created. At this point, you should have all 1 through 13 in your HTML document in Notepad, like I have here. So if you just go through and make sure everything is there, like doc type, HTML, head, title, style, you'll close out the head and then you open the body, and then everything else is going to go in between this open tag for the body and the close tag for the body, and then finally close it with HTML. So I've done all of my HTML, and the next part I'm going to do is I'm going to add my CSS to the style inside the head. And just to show you an example of what it looks like, if you remember, we put all of our HTML inside the body pretty much. Now we're going to put our CSS inside style inside the head. So it's going to style everything that we say for instance, if I put a paragraph to style, it'll style every paragraph below that's in the body. And CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and we're going to learn more about it. And the reason why we're using it is to show you how much easier it is to style it using CSS versus entering it into every single HTML tag, which is really labor intensive, especially if you want to change something. If you change something within the CSS, they all change at once, so you don't have to go back and change all of them individually. So we're going to go on over here to there is a link to W3 Schools, the CSS tutorial. And I'm just going to go to Home, CSS Home, and go to Try It Yourself. And you'll see that it has, within the style, it has, it's styling the body, which is the background color, it's styling the heading, which is the large heading right here, and it's styling a paragraph. So you'll notice that we want you to style the paragraph, 2 different size headings, a body, and a list. So all we need to add in here would be another heading. So my other heading size is a H2. I'm just going to add my curly Q bracket and close it out. Sorry, that's the wrong one. And then I'm going to go down here and I need to do my list, which you can go, I just happen to know what the tag is. If you don't, you can go back and check. So for instance, if I didn't remember what the list tag was, you can either do the LI or the OL will work to style them all at the same time. So let's go on back, and so I've got those 2 set up. Now I'm going to see what else I need to add within the properties. So I've got all these set up already. Then we've got properties. So we want color, background color, border style, margin, padding, text align, font family, and font size. If we go to CSS tutorial, you can see that these are all listed. This has font family and font size. I have a link to the different website font names if you want to add those in. So for instance, if I like a nice sans serif font such as, let's see, I'm going to make my heading an impact. So I'm going to go on over here and let's see, I'm going to copy this line of code that's in paragraph and I'm going to put it into my header. And I'm going to name it, instead of Verdana, I'm going to name it Impact. And I'm going to hit run. And so it changes that font. I don't know if it's the best color, but you can see that it changes it. Again, if you want to go for colors, we can also check out all the color names. And let's say I want my background to be a different color than this. I would do like maybe dark cyan. I like that instead of light blue. And run, etc. So, and then the same thing for here. If I wanted to add some, I want these same things within my H2, and let's see, let me add an H2 so you can see what that looks like. H2, and I'm going to close it out. And then and run. So then there's a second heading that's a little bit smaller because it's H2, and so on and so forth. And then if you want to add the other ones that you've not dealt with before, like the padding and margin, You just go back over here to the CSS tutorial. There's margin, padding, etc. And as you're looking for it, you'll find those, and you'll just make sure that, so each one of, so like, let's see, actually. Each one of these guys doesn't need all 10 of them. You just need to use 10 total. And you need to have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections of your CSS completed. And that's all it takes.